Should you buy dividend stocks? I don't know you, so I don't know if you should buy dividend stocks. Wait, don't leave, okay? But I will help you decide. I will help you judge if it would be smart for you to buy dividend stocks right now, okay? Anyway, in this video I will talk about when it would make sense to focus on dividend stocks and when and for whom it doesn't make sense. So there is some value to what I will tell you. You just have to use your brain and group yourself into the right category. And another important disclaimer, not every dividend paying stock is a quote-unquote dividend stock. When I talk about dividend stocks in this video, I mean Dividend Kings and Aristocrats and all these companies that are established and popular based on their dividend payouts. So companies you will find on top 10 dividend paying companies and whatever. Okay? For example, PepsiCo is a dividend stock. Yay! Microsoft pays a dividend and it's not a dividend stock, even though it's been paying a dividend for a long time. I think it's about to be a dividend aristocrat soon. So anyway, let's get into the video. So why buy dividend stocks? Because you get a relatively stable dividend that helps you generate cash flow that you can either reinvest or take out and live off. Sounds great, so why wouldn't everyone do it? Well, follow me, I'll show you why. Here we have the S&P Growth ETF and the Value one. The Value one in this case is our dividend ETF. As you can see, the Growth, as the name suggests, grows more. And if you want to accumulate the biggest possible return, you should focus on growth companies and not dividend companies. Growth companies are, for example, your typical tech stocks like the Mag 7. Flip Tesla, by the way, put in TSMC. Anyway, and dividend companies are Dividend Kings and Aristocrats like PepsiCo, Johnson & Johnson, and so on. So, what is our learning from that? If you want to maximize future returns, no, dividends should not be your focus. But if you want to generate a high cash flow right now, yes, buy dividend stocks. Let's continue. Let's compare the pros and cons, okay? With dividends, the pro is you get the money. Meaning, not only is there no guarantee for your growth company to make massive steps forward, but on top of that, you will only get that return once you sell. So, what if the stock crashes just when you need the money? Well, tough luck, buddy. Should have bought dividend stocks, I guess. But wait, what about dividend stocks? What if you buy a shell and then they just start cutting the dividend? Wouldn't that defeat the whole purpose? As you can see, a lot of people bring up this argument, but for me it makes not a lot of sense because there's risk of making the wrong investment for either option, for a growth company or a dividend one. So we shouldn't focus on the mistakes you make individually, but rather try to generalize. So the classic pros and cons for dividend stocks are pros, relatively stable companies, established companies, and not a lot of psychological fear, and market dips will not affect you as much as growth companies, so less volatile. Cons, well, less return, higher taxation, so overall just less money, you know. So, in conclusion, less risk, less return. Anyway, let's not waste time. You're busy, I'm busy. When should you buy dividend stocks? Well, when you're older and wealthy. So, pretty much once you settle down or you're starting to settle down, then you can shift your focus on dividend stocks. If you're looking for growth in the next 10 to 20 years or even longer, then there's really no need to focus strictly on dividend stocks. I know, a lot of people are gonna talk about the psychological effect of dividends and how it motivates them and affects them, but I gotta tell you the harsh truth, the harsh reality. That is an emotional driven reasoning, and if you buy and sell emotionally, you are doomed. You're doomed to fail in a stock market regardless. If you see a crash and you panic and you get scared, hey, that dividend company might help you a little. But what if they stop paying out dividends? Do you think a recession won't affect them at all? Even though these companies are stable, they obviously will be affected. Maybe not as much as the overall market, but still, if you have a weak mindset and you can't deal with the stock market going up and down, then it's gonna be tough for you regardless. Overall, the stock market is psychological. I mean, nowadays with so much information at our hands, there's nothing gatekept anymore, but people still fail to make good returns. And you might get riled up and leave with a dislike and hate comment, but hey, don't kill the messenger, okay? At the end of the day, you can still do whatever you want. I'm just bringing you the message. If you're young, if you don't expect to retire in the next couple of years, you should not focus on dividend stocks. And for clarification, that doesn't mean you're not allowed to have any dividend stocks at all. That only means the majority of stocks should not be dividend stocks. If you have shares in 10 stocks, in 10 companies, you can have 1 or 2 dividend stocks. I mean, have mostly growth, but have a couple dividend stocks. Nothing against that. I mean, even I keep looking at PepsiCo and I'm thinking, maybe I should buy in soon. But overall, growth stocks make the most sense for young investors. Even if you're in your 30s or 40s, if you're not retiring soon, you should not focus on dividend stocks. On top of that, if you buy growth stocks, they can literally become dividend stocks in the future. I mean, companies like Microsoft, TSMC, or even Google might pay out a really attractive dividend in the next 10 to 20 years or even later. So that's also one thing to look at. Dividend stocks, they're established, they've been paying out for 50 years. There's also not much growth in their dividend. While you have these tech companies, they're gonna settle down. They can't grow forever. They're gonna have to attract more and more investors, and a dividend is a nice way to attract investors. And Microsoft has been doing it for 20 years. Google just started, even Meta just announced one, so that's also another factor to think about. At the end of the day, you still have to pick the right stocks, and for that, just follow me, subscribe, okay? Hey, if you don't believe me, go back to my old videos. Yes, I also made mistakes, but I did tell y'all to buy the trade desk and it went up 50% in a month. Or CSPC, Chinese pharmaceutical company, and it went up 50%. I mean, these are not companies everyone talks about. I mean, Trade Desk maybe, but also my all-time favorite, Xiaomi, up like crazy, and it's gonna keep going up. So I'm not gonna lie, the numbers speak for themselves, okay? Anyway, that's it for the stock part. I'ma finish the video off like always with my yapping session. What can I yap about today? I mean, my throat is kinda sore, so I gotta keep it short. Yesterday it was the UCL final. Oh my god, what a domination. I knew Paris Saint-Germain would win. I feel like I called it out in an earlier video, but I'm not gonna look back at it anyway. Y'all can watch all my videos and tell me, okay? Anyway, yeah, they dominated, but everyone is saying stuff like, oh, it was so obvious, why is Inter just defending and stuff? Oh, doomed to fail. Yeah, after the game everyone is a genius, but what do you expect them to do? Inter has always been playing like this. This is how they got to the final in the first place, so why should they try to learn a whole new tactic? That makes no sense. They just got outplayed, and also a lot of people are hyping this Paris Saint-Germain team up. They're young, this and that, but I think it's hard. You know, Real Madrid did it once with BBC to three-peat. I don't think they're gonna dominate the next 10 years. Yeah, they might win a trophy, another UCL trophy or two in the next 10 years, but hey, still betting on Barca, on their comeback. Liverpool is looking good. Real Madrid is gonna bounce back as well, so no need to act like this is total domination. And even the Super Cup, man, Tottenham, who knows, they might win, so stop hyping everyone up after like a game. Let's see, okay? And I love Luis Enrique, happy for him. Anyway, other than that, just watch Formula 1. Piastri won. Max Verstappen went crazy, by the way, like a child. man, he is low-key the GOAT, but when he acts out, he acts out. And Nico Hülkenberg, P5. Close to his podium, but still, yet so far. Hamilton low-key washed, Leclerc podium. Yeah, happy for that. And Antonelli, unfortunate, man. But anyway, other than that, what can I talk about? Nothing, so I'll leave y'all alone. Comment Hülkenberg and I'll give y'all a virtual kiss. Anyway, peace, love, goodbye.